These 4 rare half dollars and 5 forgotten $1 coins are hiding shocking value in plain sight. Most Americans have no idea that these coins in their pocket change could be worth thousands. Watch till the end, as we unfold the mysterious history behind each coin, revealing secret minting errors, dramatic backstories, and the expert details that could change your collection forever. This 1976 half dollar looks ordinary, but it could make you rich. Here's the untold story, hidden value and shocking truth behind this American coin that millions overlook every day. Read carefully as we begin this journey into the world of the 1976 half-dollar coin, a piece of American history that holds not just monetary value, but a deeper story that many coin collectors and history lovers crave to uncover. The bicentennial half-dollar minted in 1975 and 1976 stands out from all other issues, not just because of its unique reverse design, but because it commemorates 200 years of American independence, a historic moment captured in the form of a coin. And this coin is more than just metal. It is a symbol of national pride, tradition, and numismatic artistry. Now let us look at the roots of the coin. The half-dollar denomination was first introduced in 1794, but the 1976 version belongs to the Kennedy half-dollar series introduced after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy in 1963. The bicentennial issue, however, replaced the usual reverse design with a new one, showing the Independence Hall in Philadelphia, a building soaked in the essence of American liberty designed by Seth Huntington. The image reflects the spirit of 1776, but the changes do not stop at the reverse. The date on the obverse is also unique. Instead of a single year, it reads 1776 to 1976, making it instantly recognizable to collectors and historians alike. Now dive into the mintage and materials. Millions of these coins were struck by the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and came in 3 main types. The copper nickel-clad business strikes made for general circulation, the copper nickel proof strikes mostly from San Francisco, and the silver-clad versions which contain 40% silver and were primarily intended for collectors. The silver versions are of particular interest because of their intrinsic metal value, especially when silver prices rise. Now let us analyze how to identify these varieties. Look at the edge and weight. Copper nickel-clad coins usually weigh around 11.34 grams, while the 40% silver coins are slightly heavier, and their edges may show less copper color. Spotting a silver-clad coin can often mean you are holding a higher value item in your hands. Many people ignore the coin thinking it is ordinary pocket change, but the silver-clad version and some rare errors are worth significantly more than face value. Speaking of errors, the 1976 half-dollar has had its share of minting mistakes, including double dies, off-center strikes, missing clad layers, and planche errors. Some of these rare errors have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction and continue to be highly sought after by collectors. The value of the 1976 half-dollar depends heavily on its type, condition, mint mark, and whether it has any rare errors circulated. Copper-nickel versions are generally worth face value, but high-grade examples can fetch anywhere between $5 to $20, and silver-clad coins, especially those graded MS67 or higher, can range from $25 to several $100s in pristine proof. Deep cameo condition. Some rare varieties like the 1976's no mint mark silver proof or deep cameo designated coins can reach 4-figure values. The real question is how to identify and store such coins properly if you are a beginner in coin collecting. Always start with a magnifying glass, a digital scale, and a coin reference guide or grading book. Coins should be stored in acid-free holders and handled with gloves to preserve their condition. Environmental exposure. Even slight touching can lead to tone changes, scratches, and loss of value over time. Let us also look at how the public received the 1976 half-dollar during its release. Americans were deeply involved in the spirit of the bicentennial with celebrations, parades, and renewed patriotic pride. The Mint decided to produce special bicentennial designs, not just for the half-dollar but also for the quarter and the dollar. The unique trio of coins with special designs created an excitement among the public, and many hoarded these coins as souvenirs. Some were placed in government-issued mint sets or proof sets, while others were circulated across the country. What makes the 1976 half-dollar coin truly interesting is its cultural significance, unlike modern issues that come and go. The bicentennial half-dollar is a time capsule. It reminds us of the historical unity and pride that the United States felt during the celebration of its 200th birthday. Now explore some auction records and surprising facts. A 1976 S silver proof, graded by PCGs as PR70 DCAM, once sold for over $2,000 because of its flawless mirror-like surface and perfect strike. Similarly, some off-center or misprinted versions of the coin fetched high bids from collectors. Worldwide auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers have seen growing demand for premium examples of the coin, reflecting the continued interest in bicentennial issues. What most people do not realize is that coins like the 1976 half-dollar are not just numismatic treasures. They are economic and emotional connections to the past. Holding a coin minted during a major milestone in American history allows people to connect physically to the events that shaped their nation. The coin becomes a storytelling device, an educational tool, and a collector item all at once. As a collector or enthusiast, you should always check your change regularly, because you never know if a 40% silver coin or a rare error is sitting unnoticed in your collection or pocket. The coins can come from inherited jars, flea markets, estate sales, or simply old rolls from the bank. The thrill of the hunt drives many collectors to keep searching, to keep learning, and to keep preserving history. Through coins looking deeper at the production. The Philadelphia Mint did not put mint marks on its coins at that time, so a coin without a mint mark is from Philly. The Denver Mint coins carry the D mark, while San Francisco Mint coins, especially proofs, carry the S mark. Each of these has its own rarity scale depending on the coin type and condition, and knowing the differences between these marks helps in identifying value. And type. Some coin rolls sold directly by the U.S. Mint during 1975 and 1976 included special bicentennial coins that were never intended for general circulation. These uncirculated and proof rolls remain highly collectible today, especially when still in their original government packaging. Now talk about grading. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. Grades like MS60 to MS70 are assigned based on surface condition, luster strike, and overall eye appeal. Coins that are uncirculated and still show their original shine can command high prices, especially when slabbed and certified by professional grading services such as PCGs or NGC. Coin collectors often chase coins in high mint state grades or deep cameo proof grades, because these are the examples that represent the best of the minting process and are the most prized in serious collections. You can still find raw examples in old coin collections, so it pays to know what to look for when identifying a valuable 1976 half-dollar. Do not overlook the edge pattern, the weight, the feel of the coin, or small irregularities, as these clues could lead you to discover an error or variety worth a small fortune. Collecting coins is not just about investment, it is about passion, heritage, and preserving history with every coin. They said it was just pocket change, but hidden in the 1971 half-dollar is a story of American pride, rare errors, Cold War silver secrets, and forgotten millions. This isn't just a coin, it's a time capsule waiting to explode in value and history. The 1971 half-dollar coin is a piece of American currency that holds more value than most people realize. To understand its true worth, we must go back to the aftermath of World War II, when the United States emerged as a dominant world power. The nation entered the 1950s and 60s with economic strength, military might, and cultural influence. But the events of the 1960s, including the Vietnam War, civil rights movements, and the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, shook the nation. In 1964, to honor Kennedy's legacy, the United States Mint released the Kennedy half-dollar. The coin was an instant hit, struck in 90%. Silver collectors and Americans alike began hoarding them and removing them from circulation, which led to a shortage in the years following. Silver content in U.S. coins was reduced due to rising silver prices by 1971. All circulating U.S. coins, except for a few special collector issues, were struck, with no silver content. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar was the first in this series to be minted, without any silver in its base design. It marked the beginning of a new era for American currency. The coin itself features the profile of John F. Kennedy facing left, with the word liberty above his head. The phrase, "In God we trust," appears split with, "In God" to the left, and "We trust" to the right of the bust. The date, 1971, rests at the bottom of the obverse side, designed by Gilroy Roberts. The obverse pays tribute to the late president in a bold and noble representation. The reverse side was created by Frank Gasparo, featuring the presidential seal, a heraldic eagle clutching arrows, and an olive branch surrounded by 50 stars with United States of America, and half-dollar inscribed around the border. The coin was struck at 3 mints: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D mint mark, and San Francisco with an S, the Philadelphia and Denver issues were struck for circulation, while the San Francisco Mint produced proof versions intended for collectors. The metal composition of the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar was a copper nickel clad with a core of pure copper and outer layers of copper nickel. This was a significant change from the previous 40% silver coins that had been minted from 1965 to 1970. This shift to base metals reflected the nation's attempt to preserve its silver reserves and adjust to the evolving economy in terms of mintage. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 155 million coins, while the Denver Mint struck over 250 million. The San Francisco Mint produced nearly 4 million proof coins. One of the key reasons collectors value the 1971 half-dollar is due to minting errors and variations. Among these errors are the famous 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollars mistakenly struck on leftover 40% silver planchets from 1970. These transitional errors are extremely rare and can be worth thousands of dollars depending on condition, weight, and authentication. Other errors include double die obverses, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and missing layers. These varieties are always sought after and command premium prices at auctions. One well-known discovery was made by a collector who found a 1971 D struck on a silver planchet weighing approximately 11.5 grams instead of the normal 11.34 grams. It was authenticated and sold for a significant amount of money, showing just how valuable these rare errors can be in terms of historical context. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar was released during the Nixon administration, at a time when the nation faced economic challenges, inflation, and unrest. While the coin carried the image of a fallen president, it circulated in a nation uncertain of its future. Yet the presence of Kennedy's face in everyday transactions gave Americans a sense of remembrance and unity over the years. The use of the half-dollar in general circulation declined by the 1980s and 90s. Most Americans rarely saw half-dollars in everyday use, yet the coins continued to be produced mostly for collectors. The 1971 half-dollar has therefore gained a kind of mystique. It is part of a generation of coins that were both widely produced and yet largely absent from daily life. Collectors prize it not only for its design, but also for its place in American monetary and cultural history. Its numismatic value depends heavily on condition and rarity. While standard circulated examples are worth around face value, higher-grade uncirculated and proof coins can fetch much more, especially if certified by agencies like PCGS or NGC, for example. A 1971 S proof coin in PR70 Deep Cameo can be worth over $100. Meanwhile, a 1971 D silver transitional error can reach into the 5-figure range. The grading scale plays a critical role, and valuation coins are assessed on a 70-point scale, with higher numbers representing superior condition mint state coins, typically begin at MS60 and go up to MS70, with MS65 and above being considered premium uncirculated coins. Collectors often search for coins with strong strikes, minimal bag marks, and clean fields, aside from condition. The market also reacts to historical events, anniversaries, and media exposure. Coins featured in news stories, documentaries, or popular YouTube channels often spike in value due to renewed public interest. The Kennedy half-dollar has been minted in every year since 1964, but the 1971 edition stands at a crossroads between the silver era and modern-clad coinage. It marks a pivotal transition in U.S. monetary history as inflation continued and digital payments rose. The role of physical coins like the half-dollar diminished, yet their collectible value grew among enthusiasts around the world. In auction records, we find fascinating prices paid for 1971 half-dollars with unique characteristics. In 2016, a 1971D silver transitional error graded MS61 by NGC sold for over $12,000. This example alone sparked a flurry of activity among collectors checking their old rolls and bags for similar finds. Some collectors have even found rare coins in bankrolls or inherited collections, proving that valuable discoveries can still be made today. If we trace the half-dollar's origin, it dates back to the late 18th century. The first U.S. half-dollar was minted in 1794, and it evolved through the bust Liberty seated Liberty Barber and Franklin series before transitioning to the Kennedy design in 1964. Thus, the 1971 coin is part of a much older legacy, one that represents changing times, politics, metal economics, and identity for collectors. Today, the 1971 half-dollar represents opportunity, mystery, and nostalgia. Whether you're a beginner or an advanced numismatist, understanding its history and characteristics is essential to appreciate its full value. As the market continues to grow, demand for well-preserved and rare examples will only increase, especially as younger generations rediscover the value of coin collecting through digital platforms, documentaries, and educational content. The Kennedy half-dollar remains one of the most iconic and enduring series in U.S. numismatics. The 1971 edition specifically captures a turning point, a coin struck in honor of a beloved president during a time of national change, a coin that still hides treasures among millions that were forgotten in drawers, bankrolls, and jars across America. What if I told you a coin you could once get for just 50 cents and change could now be worth thousands of dollars, and holds a powerful secret from America's past, a coin born during the aftermath of tragedy, minted with bold symbolism, and hiding rare varieties that collectors chase to this day. Welcome to the world of the 1974 half-dollar, where forgotten metal meets untold value and numismatic history you never learned in school. Old Coins Value. Where we dive deep into the forgotten chapters of American coinage today, we explore the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar, a coin that may seem ordinary to most, but carries decades of hidden value, national emotion, and collector fascination. The story of this coin begins not in 1974 but in 1963, when President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas. His death shocked the nation, and within hours the United States Mint and Treasury officials began considering ways to honor the fallen leader with a circulating coin. By early 1964, the Mint introduced the Kennedy half-dollar, replacing the Franklin half-dollar that had only been in circulation since 1948. This swift change in design was highly unusual and reflected the urgency and emotional impact of the assassination. The coin was released in March 1964, and the public reaction was overwhelming. Millions of Americans rushed to obtain the coin not for spending, but for memorial purposes, which led to hoarding from the very beginning. Now fast forward to 1974, a year when America was still grappling with the Vietnam War economic troubles and the unfolding Watergate scandal. Yet in the world of coins, the Kennedy half-dollar continued to be a symbol of resilience, legacy, and patriotism. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar was struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The regular circulation strikes came from Philadelphia and Denver, while the San Francisco Mint struck proof versions for collectors only. The Philadelphia coins have no mint mark and were produced in massive quantities. Over 201 million coins were minted in Philadelphia alone. In contrast, the Denver Mint added the D Mint mark and produced over 79 million coins for circulation. But what makes the 1974 half dollar so intriguing is not just its design or mint numbers, but its potential value and mysterious varieties. One of the most legendary and elusive varieties of this coin is the 1974 D double die obverse. This error variety features noticeable doubling on the words, "In God We," trust and liberty on the obverse side, and it has caused a frenzy among collectors for years. This doubled die was the result of a misalignment during the hubbing process, when the working die was improperly impressed twice. With a slight rotation, this created visible doubling. That sharp-eyed collectors seek out the variety was not discovered until many years after the coins had entered circulation, making it extremely rare and desirable. Today, a verified high-grade example of the 1974 DDDO can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction depending on condition and certification. Let's also talk about composition. Unlike the 1964 version, which was struck in 90% silver, the 1974 Kennedy half dollar was minted in a copper nickel-clad composition. This change began in 1971 as a cost-saving measure due to the rising price of silver. This meant the 1974 half dollar contains no silver, except for the special collector proofs from San Francisco in 1974. These were still copper-nickel clad, unlike the 1965 to 1970 versions, which had 40% silver. Because there is no silver in the regular 1974 half dollar, many people overlook them and spend them as regular change. But collectors know that condition and varieties are everything when it comes to value. Coins in mint state, especially those graded MS66 and higher by PCGS or NGC, are becoming increasingly rare from this year. Most of the coins circulated heavily, and finding one in pristine condition is a challenge. The coins often show bag marks, weak strikes, or dull luster, but a gem-quality piece with full details and strong luster can command serious premiums from serious collectors. Even the proof versions struck in San Francisco are collectible. These coins have mirror-like surfaces and are housed in hard plastic cases. They were never intended for circulation and only sold to collectors through mint sets. But here's where the story gets even more interesting. The Kennedy half dollar was originally intended to be a short-term memorial coin, yet it remains in production to this day. But demand has shifted in recent decades. The half dollar is rarely seen in circulation. Banks seldom order them from the Federal Reserve, and most people under the age of 30 have never received one in change. This makes the coin seem almost mysterious and adds to its appeal among new collectors. There are also countless stories of people finding rare 1974 half dollars at garage sales in rolls of coins inherited from grandparents or tucked away in forgotten drawers because this coin is not silver. Many casual holders dismiss its potential value, but seasoned numismatists know that a coin's worth is not just in metal, but in minting history, variety, rarity, and grade. Let us return to the 1974 D doubled die. For a moment, this coin is notoriously hard to authenticate without magnification. Many fakes exist, and some are merely die deterioration, not true doubling. So third-party grading is essential. Major services like PCGS and NGC offer clear identification of this variety, and having one certified can drastically increase its value in the eyes of buyers and collectors. On eBay and auction houses like Heritage or Stack's Bowers, 1974 D doubled die coins can be seen selling for hundreds of dollars, especially in grades above MS64, and those with original mint luster and clean surfaces are the top prize among modern-era coin collectors. But even common 1974 half dollars in brilliant, uncirculated condition are worth collecting because they are part of the broader American story. They represent a shift in minting from silver to clad metal, a design that carries emotional weight and an era of political turbulence when every symbol of unity, including coinage, mattered. Coin roll hunters still search bankrolls hoping to uncover a gem, 1974 D, or perhaps that elusive double die. The thrill of finding one in the wild keeps this coin alive in the hearts of treasure hunters nationwide. And let us not forget about full-step designations or cameo contrasts in proof versions. These subtle grading elements can significantly boost value, especially when combined with pristine surfaces and well-struck design details. For those who inherit coin collections, the 1974 Kennedy half dollar is one to look out for, especially those with sharp details, no wear and clear mint marks or signs of doubling. Sometimes the true value of a coin is not realized until years later when markets shift and knowledge grows. That is why it pays to learn the story behind each coin. From a circulating coin struck in mass numbers to a hidden gem in your grandfather's drawer, the 1974 Kennedy half dollar tells a tale of lost memory, design innovation, and numismatic evolution. Stay with us as we explore more about how these coins were struck, the machinery used. The die life involved the history of the Denver Mint and how you can properly store, identify, and possibly profit from these half dollars in your own collection. The journey of this coin is far from over, and your journey as a collector might just be starting with it. This is not just a coin, this is a legacy in metal, a mirror of American history and perhaps the most undervalued treasure hiding in plain sight in your change drawer, your old piggy bank, or a coin roll waiting to be opened. So get your magnifying glass, your coin scale, and your passion ready, because the world of the 1974 Kennedy half dollar is deeper than you ever imagined. A coin that holds not only monetary but also historical value. This episode is dedicated to coin lovers, collectors, and enthusiasts who are eager to understand the root significance and detailed story behind the 1976 Kennedy half dollar coin. The 1976 half dollar coin is one of the most iconic commemorative coins in American numismatic history, issued to mark the bicentennial of the United States of America. It stands out not only for its design, but also for the occasion. It honors this coin was part of a special release by the United States Mint in honor of the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, which took place in 1776. The U.S. Mint made special designs for the $quarter-dollar, half-dollar, and $1 coins, specifically for the bicentennial celebration. These coins were struck in both clad and silver versions and are known for their dual date, 1776 to 1976, which sets them apart from other regular issue coins. The design of the 1976 Kennedy half dollar was modified from the original design by Frank Gasparo, which featured a profile of President John F. Kennedy. The bicentennial reverse design was created by Seth G. Huntington and depicts Independence Hall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The reverse also includes the dual date 1776 to 1976, along with the words United States of America, half dollar, and E pluribus unum. This was the first and only time that the Kennedy half dollar featured this special reverse design, and it was used only for coins dated 1776 to 1976 before returning to the regular presidential seal design in 1977. Now let us understand how the idea of commemorating the bicentennial with a special coin program came about. The journey of this coin begins in the early 1970s, when the U.S. government began to plan for the celebration of the country's 200th birthday. The American Revolution Bicentennial Administration, or RBA, worked with the U.S. Mint and Congress to produce special commemorative coinage to reflect the historic importance of the event. Public excitement and demand for a unique coinage experience led to the authorization of a circulating commemorative coin program rather than a limited edition collectible, which had been the trend in the past. Congress passed legislation authorizing the redesign of the quarter, half dollar, and dollar to be issued in the years leading up to and during 1976. This made the 1976 Kennedy half dollar not just a piece of currency, but a work of symbolic patriotism and national pride. Production of the 1976 half dollar began in 1975 and continued through 1976. Interestingly, all coins bearing the bicentennial design carry the dual date of 1776 to 1976, regardless of the year in which they were minted. This was a deliberate move to reflect the commemorative nature of the release. There are two major varieties of the 1976 half dollar. One is the copper nickel-clad version, which was intended for general circulation, and the other is the 40% silver version, which was produced primarily for collectors. and sold in special mint and proof sets. The clad version was produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, while the 40% silver coins were struck at the San Francisco Mint in both uncirculated and proof versions. Let us go deeper into the mintage figures and production details. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 234 million of the 1976 Kennedy half dollars with no mint mark, while the Denver Mint struck over 287 million coins. Bearing the D mint mark, San Francisco struck around 11 million uncirculated silver coins and over 4 million silver proof coins, which makes the silver versions comparatively rare and more desirable among collectors. Many people wonder whether the 1976 half dollar has any special value today, and the answer depends on several factors, including condition, mint mark composition, and whether it is a proof or uncirculated version. Circulated copper-nickel examples are very common and are usually worth face value or slightly more. But uncirculated and proof examples, especially those in high grade or with special finishes, can be worth several dollars or more. Silver examples are worth even more due to their precious metal content and limited mintage. When considering value, it is also important to look at grading and preservation coins that are certified by third-party grading services like PCGS or NGC, and have high grades such as MS67 or PR69 can fetch significant premiums, especially if they exhibit strong luster-clean surfaces and minimal contact marks. Deep cameo-proof coins with mirrored fields and frosted devices are especially popular with collectors and investors. Another interesting aspect of the 1976 half dollar is the cultural and historical symbolism embedded in its design. Independence Hall is not only a key American landmark, but also the very place where the Founding Fathers debated and signed the Declaration of Independence. Its inclusion on the reverse of the coin reinforces the historical roots of American freedom and democracy, while the obverse maintains the memory of John F. Kennedy, President who embodied a spirit of renewal and progress during his time in office. The coin thus serves as a bridge between two eras, the founding of the nation and the modern era of American leadership. The dual date is a subtle yet powerful reminder of continuity, heritage, and national pride. It is a coin that tells a story not only through its metal and design, but through the era that produced it. The mid-1970s were a time of both reflection and hope, as Americans looked back on 2 centuries of growth and looked forward to the challenges of the future. From a collector's point of view, the 1976 Kennedy half dollar holds a special place in every bicentennial set. It is often collected alongside the Washington Bicentennial Quarter and the Eisenhower Bicentennial Dollar, completing what many consider to be one of the most historically meaningful coin sets issued by the United States Mint in the 20th century. These coins are frequently found in original government packaging, which can add to their value, especially if well preserved. There are also error coins and varieties that can be valuable, including off-center strikes, doubled dies, and coins struck on wrong planchets. Although these are rare when they do appear, they are highly sought after by specialists and often sell for significant premiums at auctions or through private sales. Collectors should always be vigilant and knowledgeable about these varieties, as they can turn an ordinary-looking coin into a rare and valuable treasure. In summary, the 1976 Kennedy half dollar is more than just a commemorative coin. It is a symbol of national identity, a piece of American artistry, a collector's favorite, and a historical document in metal. It captures a pivotal moment in the nation's timeline, the 200th birthday of the United States, and celebrates it with dignity, beauty, and lasting value for collectors, investors, and historians alike. It is a coin worth knowing and a coin worth preserving. As we continue this deep dive, we will now explore how these coins are evaluated, graded, bought, and sold in today's coin market. We will also take a closer look at auction records, notable collections, and interviews with numismatists who have dedicated their lives to the study of commemorative coinage. Stay with me as we explore even more details about the incredible story of the 1976 half-dollar coin. Let us now shift our focus to how the Kennedy half dollar evolved before and after 1976. The first Kennedy half dollar was minted in 1964 following the Assassination of President Kennedy in 1963, designed by Gilroy Roberts and Frank Gasparo. It quickly became a cherished national symbol in 1964. The coin was struck in 90% silver, but in subsequent years silver content was reduced and eventually removed from general circulation coins. The 1976 silver version marked one of the last times a Kennedy half-dollar was produced with significant silver content intended for public sale, though not for wide circulation. From 1971 to present, the Kennedy half-dollar has undergone many changes in finish, mintage, and popularity, but none match the national scale and celebratory aura of the 1976 issue. This coin remains a highlight in U.S. coinage history and continues to attract new generations of collectors around the world. Stay tuned as we uncover even more about the legacy, design changes, cultural significance, and current market trends surrounding the 1976 half-dollar coin. In the second half of this special episode, we will cover grading tips, packaging history, investment strategies, and real interviews from top collectors and appraisers across the coin collecting community, and ended with a silent goodbye from the Eisenhower dollar. Stay with me as we uncover the complete untold history, the secrets buried in its design, the collector demand rising behind the scenes, and why this $1 might just be worth far more than you think. Where we uncover the hidden history and true value of old American coins. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most iconic yet often overlooked coins in U.S. numismatic history, the 1978 $1 coin. The last Eisenhower dollar ever minted. This was more than just the final year of a coin series. It was the closing moment of a bold experiment by the U.S. Mint to honor a war hero, a president, and a space mission, all in one metallic piece. The 1978 Eisenhower dollar marks the end of an era, and understanding its story gives you a complete window into a decade of American ambition, policy, economic transition, and numismatic evolution. To understand the 1978 $1 coin, we first need to go back to 1969, when Dwight D. Eisenhower passed away. He was the supreme commander of the Allied forces in World War II, and the 34th President of the United States, a man widely respected for both his military and political leadership. Congress immediately began discussing how to honor his legacy with a coin. At the same time, NASA's Apollo 11 moon landing had just occurred. So there was a desire to capture that moment as well. The decision was made to honor both the late president and the moon landing on a new $1 coin, the first large dollar coin since the end of the Peace Dollar series in 1935. The Eisenhower dollar was approved by Congress in December 1970, and the first coins were struck in 1971. From 1971 to 1978. The coin saw 8 years of production during a time of major economic shifts, inflation, energy crisis, distrust in government. After the Watergate scandal and significant technological progress, the Eisenhower dollar stood as a symbol of strength, consistency, and patriotism. But it also had problems. The coin was large, heavy, not very popular in daily commerce, and as vending machines and cash registers modernized, many people found it cumbersome to use. The obverse of the Eisenhower dollar features a left-facing portrait of Dwight D. Eisenhower designed by chief engraver Frank Gasparo, a solid and clean profile showing Ike's strength and calm demeanor. The reverse is one of the most fascinating designs in modern coinage. It features the Apollo 11 insignia, an American bald eagle landing on the moon with an olive branch in its talons, inspired directly from the official mission patch. This design was not only symbolic of peace and victory, but was the first time a circulating coin honored a space mission. Now let's zoom into the year 1978. This was the final year of the Eisenhower series, and that alone gives the coin historical significance. The U.S. Mint was preparing to transition to the smaller Susan B. Anthony dollar in 1979, which meant 1978 would be the last hurrah for large-sized dollar coins in general circulation. As collectors now know, this made the 1978 issue a closing chapter to a very specific style of coinage, which had already been replaced in many vending systems by smaller and more modern denominations. The 1978 Eisenhower dollars were struck at three mints: the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint, though San Francisco produced only proof coins. The Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark, the Denver coins show a D, and the San Francisco proofs show an S. Proof coins were made for collectors and had mirror-like finishes, while business strikes were intended for circulation. Each mint had its own characteristics in strike quality, die use, and minor variations which are now closely studied by numismatists and variety hunters. Among the 1978 Eisenhower dollars, there are some key varieties and errors that collectors love to chase. One of the most well-known is the 1978 D with a strong die clash. Another is the 1978 S proof with deep cameo contrast. High-grade examples, especially in MS67 and above, can fetch significant premiums due to their scarcity and top condition. The fact that these coins were often not well preserved in bags and were shipped in bulk meant that most surviving coins have Nix bag marks, or average luster. So gem condition examples are rare and desirable. Another important thing to consider is the composition of these coins from 1971 to 1978. Eisenhower dollars came in two types: regular copper nickel clad for circulation and 40% silver for collectors. The 1978 issue only had copper nickel clad coins, with the San Francisco Mint producing clad proofs. No 40% silver coins were made in 1978, which again sets this year apart as the final pure base metal issue of the Eisenhower dollar era. This decision was a result of rising silver prices and the Mint's desire to streamline costs and focus only on clad compositions going forward. Many people overlook the Eisenhower dollar due to its short lifespan and its low usage in everyday transactions. But among collectors, it has gained new respect in recent decades because of its large-size historical relevance and the patriotic themes of its design. Also, the 1978 issue acts as a bridge between two 1978 issue acts as a bridge between two very different numismatic worlds: the classic large dollar of the 19th and early 20th centuries and the modern small-size dollars of the post-1979 period. This transitional value gives the 1978 coin a symbolic weight beyond its monetary value. In terms of values most circulated, 1978 Eisenhower dollars are worth just face value, unless they are in excellent condition or part of a complete set. Uncirculated examples in MS65 can go from $10 to $20, and in MS66 they can fetch $30 to $50. In MS67, the price can skyrocket into the hundreds due to low population at that grade. San Francisco proofs are more affordable unless they have deep cameo contrast and are certified PR69 DCAM or PR70 DCAM, which can also be worth $100 to several $100s depending on market demand. Grading plays a huge role in the value of the 1978 dollar coin. Collectors look for sharp details, strong luster, no visible marks, and solid eye appeal. The obverse should show clear details in Eisenhower's hair and jawline, while the reverse should display feathers on the eagle and fine texture on the moonfields. Collectors also examine die varieties, such as doubled dies, repunched mint marks, and strike anomalies, which all contribute to the value and uniqueness of specific coins. The 1978 Eisenhower dollar may not have circulated widely during its own time, but today, it carries the echoes of a generation that saw the end of a war, the landing on the moon, the resignation of a president, and the rise of modern America. It is a coin full of meaning and mystery, and when held in your hand, it's more than a chunk of metal. It's a piece of the American timeline locked forever in copper and nickel. This is why coin collectors, historians, and dealers continue to value it not just for what it's worth, but for what it represents. So, the next time you come across a 1978 $1 coin, take a moment to really look at it, appreciate the bold design, the historical tribute, the artistry, the technology, and the legacy behind it, and ask yourself how many stories are hidden in a coin that once quietly passed from pocket to pocket, forgotten by many, but now rediscovered by those who care about our nation's rich numismatic past. If you've enjoyed this journey through time and coinage, Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with other coin lovers, because every coin has a story, and the 1978 Eisenhower dollar has one worth remembering forever. This is the full untold story of the 1974 Eisenhower dollar, from hidden prototypes to circulated legends, from silver-clad experiments to why some versions vanished. Grab your seat, because you're about to go deep into a 2-hour journey through American coinage history like never before. The year is 1974, and America stands in a time of political tension, global change, and economic transition. The Vietnam War is nearing its end. Richard Nixon is in the final phase of his presidency, and the Watergate scandal is looming in the background. During these shifting tides, the United States Mint continues production of one of the largest and most iconic coins of the 20th century, the Eisenhower dollar. A coin that started in 1971 to honor President Dwight D. Eisenhower and to commemorate the Apollo 11 moon landing. In 1974, the Eisenhower dollar saw its 4th year of minting. It was a coin that stood out not just for its large size and bold design, but also for its history symbolism and the role it played in the transformation of American currency systems. This is not just a story of a coin, but of a movement, a technological leap, and a nation balancing tradition with modern economics to fully understand the 1974 $1 coin. We must begin with the origin of the Eisenhower dollar series itself. After the passing of General Dwight D. Eisenhower in 1969, Congress moved quickly to honor him with a new dollar coin. But this wasn't just about a tribute. It was also about revitalizing a denomination that had not been minted for general circulation since the peace. Dollar ended in 1935. By the late 1960s, the demand for a large circulating dollar coin had returned, especially with growing casino use in Nevada and in U.S. military bases overseas, where dollar-sized tokens were commonly used. The Coinage Act of 1965 had already removed silver from circulating quarters and dimes and limited the silver content of half dollars. The same economic philosophy was applied to the Eisenhower dollar it was designed for, circulation in copper-nickel clad. But there were also limited silver-clad versions struck. Especially for collectors in 1974, 2 main versions were created: the clad business strike for circulation and the 40% silver coins minted in San Francisco for collectors. The obverse featured a left-facing bust of Eisenhower, modeled by chief engraver Frank Gasparo, using a design based on a NASA image. The reverse showed the Apollo 11 insignia with a bald eagle landing on the moon holding an olive branch with the Earth in the background, a powerful symbol of peace through strength. The same design was used from 1971 through 1974, giving this coin historical and cultural weight. But the 1974 Eisenhower dollar holds deeper significance in numismatic history because it was supposed to be the last of its kind before the planned release of a new, smaller dollar coin in 1975, unknown to the general public. And collectors, the Mint had been preparing for a major change, one that would manifest as the Susan B. Anthony dollar by 1979. But in 1974, internal tests were already happening, and experimental dies were being discussed. What many don't realize is that there was a 1974 pattern coin known as the aluminum cent, and it shares a connection to the broader economic goals that affected all coinage, including the dollar inflation, rising metal costs, and changes in vending machine technology. All influenced the fate of large coins like the Eisenhower dollar. Now consider the Mintages in 1974. Philadelphia struck over 27 million clad dollars, Denver struck over 45 million, and San Francisco produced over 1 million silver-clad proof versions. But the coins faced practical challenges. Their large size made them unpopular in everyday use. Vending machines and cash drawers were not designed to accept them, and many sat in bank vaults for years. Others found life in casinos where their weight and shine made them a perfect substitute for silver dollars. Collectors took a growing interest, and this was especially true of the San Francisco issues, which came in both uncirculated and proof finishes. The 40% silver content made them desirable for silver stackers as well, but the 1974 S-proof dollar especially in high-grade deep cameo, became a sought-after piece as grading services like PCGS and NGC began slabbing and certifying coins throughout the 1980s and 90s. Certain examples began to fetch high premiums based on strike-quality toning and rarity in top condition. Errors and varieties also play a role in the legacy of the 1974 dollar. Among the known anomalies are doubled dies, missing clad layers, off-center strikes, and even a few bizarre transitional errors. Although no official 1974 silver dollar was struck for circulation, some reports and rumors have persisted of oddities surfacing in dealer hands, suggesting potential test strikes or unauthorized mint activity. Though none have been officially confirmed by the mint, such tales only increase the mystique of the 1974 dollar. The role of the Eisenhower dollar in the larger timeline of American coins cannot be ignored. By 1974, the government was reconsidering how coins functioned in a rapidly modernizing economy. Paper bills had become more dominant for daily transactions, and coins were now more about bulk vending, gaming, and commemorative use. The 1974 Eisenhower dollar is a snapshot of this transitional moment, caught between old-world aesthetics and new-world pragmatism. Beyond the economics, the cultural value of this coin continues to grow. It remains the last large-sized circulating dollar coin, the last to depict a military general, the last with such physical presence, and among the last to feature artwork rooted in space exploration for collectors, historians, and patriots alike. The 1974 Eisenhower dollar is not just currency, it's a time capsule. As you hold the coin in your hand, you feel the weight of post-war leadership, the echoes of moon missions, and the fading glory of big metal money in an era shifting toward smaller, lighter, faster systems. The 1974 Eisenhower dollar stands tall, a tribute to bold design, fearless exploration, and a president who symbolized American strength. This is why the 1974 $1 coin remains a centerpiece in collections worldwide. Its story is not just minted in metal, but carved into the soul of 20th century America, from the factory floors of the Denver Mint to the gambling halls of Las Vegas, from the collector boxes of numismatists to the pockets of soldiers stationed abroad. This coin made its mark and continues to inspire. This was the full, in-depth professional history of the 1974 $1. Eisenhower coins. Stay with us to learn more about rare dates, mint errors, grading secrets, and auction records, as we continue to uncover the true value and untold stories of American coinage. Since the signing of the Declaration of Independence, it was a monumental occasion marked by parade ceremonies and commemorative events across the nation. The United States Mint joined in on this historic celebration by producing a unique series of coins that would forever be etched into the memories of collectors and patriots alike. Among them was the $1 coin known today as the 1976 Eisenhower dollar. But it was not just another coin. It carried symbols, stories, and a deep-rooted connection to American history and pride. The Eisenhower dollar had been in production since 1971, featuring the likeness of President Dwight D. Eisenhower on the obverse, and an image of an eagle landing on the moon on the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo. However, the 1976 version was different. Instead of the usual design, the bicentennial dollar showcased a new reverse designed by Dennis R. Williams, featuring the Liberty Bell superimposed over the moon. This imagery was not only powerful, it symbolized freedom, history, and the American space achievement. The obverse retained the image of Eisenhower, but with the dual date 1976 to honor the bicentennial celebration. This coin was released in two primary compositions: the copper nickel-clad version used for general circulation, and the 40% silver version minted especially for collectors. The silver-clad versions were not released into circulation, and were only available through special bicentennial coin sets purchased directly from the mint. These collector versions are still highly sought after today, especially in uncirculated and proof condition. The production of the bicentennial dollar began in 1975 and carried into 1976. Interestingly, no Eisenhower dollars were dated 1975. All those produced in that period carried the dual date 1976. This made the bicentennial Eisenhower dollar instantly unique among American coinage. The coins were minted at 3 facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The coins from Philadelphia bear no mint. Those from Denver carry the D mark, and those from San Francisco are marked with an ES. The ones minted in San Francisco included both the uncirculated silver versions and proof strikes, which featured a highly polished mirror-like background and frosted design elements. Despite being produced in large quantities, the bicentennial dollars were not widely used in everyday commerce due to their size and the public's general unfamiliarity with the Eisenhower dollar series. Instead, many were saved by collectors and individuals who recognize their historical significance today. These coins often surface in collections, estate sales, and coin shops, where their value can vary significantly based on condition, composition, and rarity. Some examples of the 1976 Eisenhower dollar, particularly those in pristine condition or struck in silver proof, can fetch hundreds, even thousands of dollars at auction, especially if graded by professional services like PCGs or NGC coins that receive high grades such as MS67 or higher, are particularly valuable due to their rarity in such condition. Beyond their monetary value, the bicentennial dollars carry immense historical and emotional significance. They are physical reminders of a proud moment in American history, a celebration of freedom, perseverance, and unity. They connect generations, reminding young collectors and seasoned numismatists alike of the story behind the coin, the design, the symbols, and the pride of a nation that had come so far in 200 years. In terms of mintages, the 1976 D-clad version had over 117 million struck, while the P version had over 177 million. The silver S version saw approximately 4 million produced, and the S-clad proof had over 7 million minted. Each of these figures gives us insight into their relative scarcity and desirability among collectors today. The story of the bicentennial dollar is also a story of art and symbolism. Dennis Williams, the young designer of the reverse, was just 20 years old at the time, and his selection marked a significant moment in numismatic history. He was one of the youngest artists ever to design a coin for the United States Mint. His Liberty Bell and Moon design was selected through a national competition launched in 1973, intended to capture the spirit of the American bicentennial. The result was a design that balanced traditional patriotic imagery with contemporary relevance. It captured both the legacy of the Founding Fathers and the achievements of modern America in space exploration. Collectors today are often drawn to the subtle details of the coin, the crispness of the strike, the shine of the proof fields, the contrast of the frosted elements, and even the alignment of the die. All these technical aspects contribute to a coin's grade, and ultimately its market value. For example, deep cameo proofs, which exhibit strong contrast and sharp definition, can demand premium prices in the collector market. Additionally, errors and varieties also influence the desirability of the 1976 dollar. Some coins feature doubling on the lettering or design elements. Others show striking issues such as off-center strikes, die clashes, or planche flaws. While rare, these anomalies add another layer of intrigue and potential value for those lucky enough to find them. The market for bicentennial Eisenhower dollars has seen periodic surges, especially when popular media or coin influencers highlight specific varieties or rare high-grade examples. For instance, a 1976 silver proof graded PR70 deep cameo by PCGs once sold for over $4,000. Similarly, pristine examples in mint state 68 or higher can exceed prices of $5,000 depending on demand and certification. This coin remains a staple in many collections, often included in typesets, U.S. history displays, and thematic bicentennial collections. Its size, weight, and striking appearance make it stand out among modern American coinage, and its symbolic value continues to resonate with those who cherish the story of the United States, its founding, and the progress it has made. Over time, as fewer high-quality examples remain in circulation, and as interest in historical coins continues to grow, the demand and value for the 1976 Eisenhower dollar is likely to increase, making it not just a historical keepsake, but a potential investment for future generations of collectors. The bicentennial dollar is more than just a piece of currency. It is a timeless artifact, a story etched in metal, a symbol of a nation's pride and progress. Its journey from design to distribution, and finally to the hands of collectors around the world reflects the spirit of the American people, their creativity, determination, and respect for history. Owning a piece of this legacy is like holding a moment in time preserved forever in a single coin. And as we continue to look back on the coins of the past, we find not just metal, but meaning not just currency, but culture. The 1976 $1 coin tells that story with quiet power and lasting grace. What if I told you a single coin minted in 1972 could open the door to a forgotten chapter of American history? A coin that holds secrets of presidential power, hidden mint errors, and a value that keeps collectors awake at night. Tonight we dive deep into the untold story of the 1972 $1 coin, the treasure in your pocket you never knew you had. In the vast landscape of American coinage, few pieces carry the layered intrigue of the 1972 $1 coin, a coin that emerged in an era of economic uncertainty, shifting political tides, and a renewed sense of national pride. To understand the true value of this coin, we have to step back to the early 70s, a time when the United States was grappling with the aftermath of the Vietnam War, the resignation of a president and an economy teetering on the brink of recession. The Eisenhower dollar, named after President Dwight D. Eisenhower, was the first dollar coin issued by the United States Mint. Since the Peace Dollar series ended in 1935, the idea was to honor the former president and World War II general who had passed away in 1969. Congress authorized the new coin in 1970, and by 1971 production was underway. But the story of the 1972 dollar is more than just a tribute. It is a testament to the complexities of minting technology, collector fervor, and hidden rarities that make this coin one of the most fascinating pieces of American numismatic history. The obverse of the Eisenhower dollar features a left-facing bust of Eisenhower designed by chief engraver Frank Gasparo, while the reverse depicts the Apollo 11 mission insignia, an eagle landing on the moon clutching an olive branch, a nod to the success of the United States in the EI space race. This powerful design connected the legacy of a wartime leader with the pinnacle of American technological achievement. The 1972 dollar was struck at 3 mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, each with its own unique characteristics and varieties. Collectors know that the 1972 Eisenhower dollar is notorious for its 3 distinct reverse types, struck at the Philadelphia Mint. These varieties, known as Type 1, Type 2, and Type EB3, were the result of die modifications during production. Type 1 is the most common, with a low relief design. Type 2 is the rarest, easily identified by the islands near Florida on the Earth behind the eagle, which appear weak or missing altogether. This variety was struck early in the year before the Mint corrected the hub. The Type 3 has stronger details and became the standard for later issues for collectors. Finding a genuine Type 2, 1972. Eisenhower dollar can be like finding a needle in a haystack, because its mintage is believed to be under 100,000 coins, making it one of the scarcest varieties in the entire Eisenhower series. The condition of these coins varies greatly, because most were circulated heavily. Eisenhower dollars were big, clunky coins, and they did not fit comfortably into vending machines or cash registers. As a result, they often ended up sitting in drawers, boxes, and bank vaults. Many of the surviving examples show contact marks, bag marks, and signs of heavy use. Finding one in mint state condition, especially a Type 2, is where the true value skyrockets. Collectors and dealers alike spend hours searching bags of Eisenhower dollars looking for the elusive variety errors. Also play a role in the intrigue surrounding the 1972 dollar. Struck through, grease die cracks off center strikes, and double dies add layers of mystery and value to this already complex coin. Every error tells a story of the human element behind the minting process, a reminder that even the most advanced machinery is susceptible to flaws, and that these imperfections can become treasures in the eyes of collectors. The Eisenhower dollar was the last large-sized $1 coin minted for general circulation. Its replacement, the smaller Susan B. Anthony dollar launched in 1979, signaled the end of an era for large dollar coins. The sheer size of the Eisenhower dollar made it unpopular for everyday transactions, but it found a niche among casinos, which used them extensively until they too moved to gaming tokens and paper slips. Today, the 1972 dollar coin continues to capture the imagination of new generations of numismatists. Coin shows across the country feature dealers with cases full of Eisenhower dollars, eager to share the stories behind each piece. The legacy of the coin is also kept alive by online communities, where enthusiasts debate, varieties share discoveries, and celebrate the history of a coin that bridges the gap between the past and present. Understanding the true value of a 1972 dollar goes beyond its face value of $1. It lies in its story, its symbolism, and its hidden treasures. A well-preserved Type 2 can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on its condition and pedigree, but even a common Type 1 carries with it a piece of American heritage that connects you to a pivotal moment in the nation's history. To appreciate this coin fully, one must hold it, feel its weight, study the fine details of the engraving, and imagine the hands that have held it over the decades. Perhaps it passed through a casino on the Vegas Strip, or sat in a cash drawer at a corner diner. Maybe it was tucked away by a child. Starting their first coin collection, each 1972 dollar carries with it a narrative, a snapshot of the early 70s when America was changing faster than ever. Before the Eisenhower dollar series paved the way for later commemorative issues and modern dollar coins, it taught the mint valuable lessons about coin design, public acceptance, and the importance of collector engagement today. Collectors hunt for high-grade examples, proof issues, and the elusive Type 2. Hoping to add a shining example to their collection, coin grading services like PCGS and NGC have encapsulated and authenticated thousands of Eisenhower dollars, providing peace of mind to buyers and sellers alike. The best examples often find their way to auction houses where spirited bidding can send prices soaring, sometimes far beyond initial estimates. This excitement fuels the passion that keeps numismatics alive and thriving as you hold your own 1972 Eisenhower dollar. Think about the people who made it possible, the engravers who spent hours perfecting the design, the mint workers who operated the massive presses, the collectors who decades later keep the coin alive by sharing its history. Each coin is a time capsule, a reminder of a complex era and a testament to the enduring appeal of American coinage. So the next time you find an old Eisenhower dollar at a yard sale, a bankroll, or a flea market, take a closer look, inspect the earth behind the eagle. Search for those faint islands near Florida. You might just be holding a rare Type 2 variety, a treasure hiding in plain sight, ready to reveal its secrets to those willing to seek them out. And when you do, you become part of the coin story. A new chapter in a saga that began more than 50 years ago. This is the legacy of the 1972 $1 coin, more than metal, more than currency. It is history in your hand, waiting to be discovered and shared with the world. What if that old 1971 $1 coin sitting in your drawer is worth a small fortune? Stay tuned, because I am about to take you on a mind-blowing journey through the hidden secrets, the rare errors, and the fascinating history of the 1971 Eisenhower dollar coin that could change the way you look at pocket change forever. In the heart of American coinage history, there lies a coin that many people overlook. A coin that carries the face of one of the most iconic American generals and presidents. The Eisenhower dollar, minted first in 1971. It was the first dollar coin issued by the United States Mint since the Peace Dollar series ended in 1935, and the first to feature a president since the Kennedy half dollar of 1964. The 1971 Eisenhower dollar is not just a piece of metal, it is a piece of history minted in the wake of the space race and the post-World War II boom. This coin represents more than just a denomination. It is a symbol of American pride, resilience, and ambition. When you hold a 1971 Eisenhower dollar in your hand, you are holding the weight of history. The coin itself was authorized by Congress in December 1970 to honor Dwight D. Eisenhower, the Supreme Allied Commander during World War II and the 34th President of the United States. But this coin also commemorates the Apollo 11 moon landing, which is why the reverse design features an eagle landing on the moon with an olive branch, a design adapted from the Apollo 11 mission insignia. The 1971 Eisenhower dollar was struck in two compositions. The first was the copper nickel-clad version intended for general circulation, minted at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, while a special silver-clad version was produced at the San Francisco Mint. As a collectible, the silver-clad pieces contain 40% silver, giving them an added intrinsic value that continues to attract collectors to this day. The Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark, so if you find a 1971 Eisenhower dollar with no mint mark, it was made in Philadelphia. The Denver Mint coins are marked with a small D, and the San Francisco Mint coins bear the S mint mark. Each mint produced millions of these coins, but the devil is always in the details. And what makes some of these coins stand out is their condition, their strike quality, and most importantly, the potential for rare errors and varieties errors in minting can turn a common coin into a rare treasure. For example, some 1971 Eisenhower dollars have doubled, die obverse or reverse, where the images or letters appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. These errors are highly sought after by collectors. Another rare variety is the peg-leg Eisenhower dollar. This term refers to the missing serif on the bottom of the R in Liberty, creating a straight leg that looks like a peg leg. This variety can be worth much more than face value, especially in high-grade uncirculated condition. Speaking of condition, one of the most important factors in determining the value of a 1971 Eisenhower dollar is its grade coins that have been preserved in pristine condition, with minimal handling, and no circulation wear are referred to as mint state coins, and they are graded on a 70-point scale by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC. An Eisenhower dollar graded MS-65 or higher can command a significant premium over its face value, particularly for coins with strong strikes, brilliant luster, and minimal bag marks. In addition to errors and condition, there is also the question of proof and uncirculated versions. The San Francisco Mint produced both proof coins and uncirculated silver-clad versions, packaged specially for collectors. These coins were never intended for circulation and were sold directly to the public, often in special holders or packaging. Proof coins are struck multiple times with specially polished dies, giving them a mirror-like finish and sharp details. A 1971 S-proof Eisenhower dollar in flawless condition can be a centerpiece of any collection. It is also worth noting that the Eisenhower dollar was the last large-size dollar coin produced for general circulation due to its unwieldy size and weight. It never caught on with the public, and by 1979 the Mint transitioned to the smaller Susan B. Anthony dollar coin. But that short run from 1971 to 1978 makes the Eisenhower series a manageable and fascinating series for collectors to complete. Now, imagine the journey this coin has taken from its design by chief engraver Frank Gasparo, who also designed the Lincoln Memorial Cent and the Kennedy $50 to its striking at the Mint, its release into circulation, and its survival through decades of commerce. How many hands has your 1971 dollar passed through? How many pockets, registers, and coin jars has it seen? What stories could it tell? If only coins could talk, they would speak of an America at the crossroads of history, an America looking to the stars as it remembered its past, a nation mourning the loss of a beloved president while celebrating technological triumphs. Over the years, the 1971 Eisenhower dollar has found its place in the hearts of collectors who appreciate its bold size, its historical significance, and its unique varieties. While some people dismiss it as just a big clunky coin, others see it as a gateway into the world of numismatics, a starting point for learning about minting processes, coin grading, and the thrill of the hunt for rare errors and high-grade specimens. Let us delve deeper into the specifics of this coin to truly understand its value. First, consider the Mintage figures in 1971. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 47 million Eisenhower dollars. The Denver Mint produced nearly 70 million. And the San Francisco Mint produced just over 6 million silver-clad uncirculated coins and about 4 million proof coins. While these numbers may seem high, keep in mind that the survival rate for coins in high grades is much lower. Many of these coins went into circulation and experienced heavy wear, making pristine examples harder to find. Another factor is the appeal of the design. The obverse features a strong portrait of Eisenhower facing, left his expression resolute, and confident around him. The word liberty arches over his head with the motto, "In God we trust," to the left, and the date, 1971. Below, the reverse shows the powerful image of the American bald eagle landing on the moon, clutching an olive branch, its wings spread wide with the earth in the background. 13 stars encircle the eagle, representing the original colonies, and the words, "United States of America," and $1 frame the scene. A pluribus unum is inscribed above the eagle. This design not only honors Eisenhower, but also the legacy of the Apollo missions, merging two monumental chapters of American history in one coin. So how do you know if your 1971 Eisenhower dollar is worth more than face value? You must look closely at its mint mark, its condition, its strike quality, and possible errors. A circulated 1971 D Eisenhower dollar in average condition might only be worth $1.50 to $3, but a mint state example can fetch $20 or more depending on grade. A rare doubled die or pegleg variety can be worth hundreds of dollars, especially if professionally graded and slabbed. Collectors also pay attention to the type of strike some coins have, a Type 1 or Type 2 reverse, with subtle differences in lettering and relief. These varieties can add to a coin's desirability and value as you build your Eisenhower dollar collection. It helps to invest in a good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe study. The fine details: look for doubling on the letters and date. Check the R in Liberty. Inspect the eagle's feathers and the fields for marks, scratches, or signs of polishing. Educating yourself is key because the world of coins is filled with nuance and surprises. If you are truly serious about collecting or selling your coins, consider having them graded by a reputable third-party grading service. This can authenticate the coin's condition and variety, adding credibility and value when you go to sell or trade. Collectors love the story behind the coin, and the 1971 Eisenhower dollar has one of the richest stories of them all. It connects generations. It bridges the past and the future. It celebrates leadership, courage, and human achievement beyond the numismatic value these coins carry. Sentimental value for many Americans. They remind us of a time when coins were more than just money. They were miniature monuments to our collective history. Even today, you might find one tucked away in an old collection jar, passed down from a relative, or hiding in a cash register drawer, waiting to be rediscovered. When you do, you hold a piece of that story in your hand. And that is what makes coin collecting so rewarding. You are not just collecting metal. You are collecting moments in time preserved for future generations. So the next time you come across a 1971 Eisenhower dollar, take a moment to appreciate its weight, its design, its journey through history, and its potential hidden value. You never know that $1 coin could be worth much more than you think, and it might just inspire you to look a little closer at the change you carry every day, because who knows what treasures lie in your pocket, your drawers, or your old piggy bank. And that is the magic of coins. They remind us that sometimes the smallest things can hold the greatest stories. So keep searching, keep learning, and keep collecting, because every coin has a story, and your story as a collector is only just beginning.